Hi guys. All right, we have a doozy of a teak here. It's a really long one, but bear with me. We're not going to cover all of this today. We're just going to do a section of it. But this is one of our main multiplication teaks. So it says it's 4.4D, and it says that you will be able to use strategies and algorithms, including the standard algorithm, to multiply up to a 4-digit number by a 1-digit number, and to multiply a 2-digit number by a 2-digit number. The strategies may include mental math, partial products, and the commutative, associative, and distributive properties. That's a lot of information. Don't worry, we're not covering this all today. In fact, this is so much, we're going to spend about a week using just this one teak. So every day until like next week, we're going to be focusing on this teak, but a different section of it every day. So let's understand kind of what the teak is saying. It says we're going to use strategies and algorithms. So strategies are different ways to solve the same problem. So you're going to learn different types of strategies, and then by the end you'll get to choose which one you're best at to solve the problem. An algorithm is just the regular standard way of multiplication. So when you think like 372 times 5, and just like this, the regular way, that's the algorithm. So you're going to learn other ways to do that, because sometimes you might not like to do the algorithm. So you'll learn some other strategies. And what are you going to do that to? You're going to multiply up to a 4-digit number by a 1-digit number, and to multiply a 2-digit number by a 2-digit number. We're not going to get to that until next week. This week we are focusing on this first part, a 4-digit number, just multiplying it by a 1-digit number. So we're going to learn some different strategies on how to multiply that. Some strategies that we're going to talk about this week are mental math, partial products, the commutative, associative, and distributive properties. So each day you'll kind of learn a different strategy. The strategy we're going to talk about today is the distributive property. So what we're taking out of this teak today only, we're going to focus on the distributive property, and we're going to focus on multiplying a 1-digit number by a 4-digit number. So that's what we'll work our way up to. Let's start smaller though. So I'm going to kind of do an example here of what the distributive property is talking about. So the past 2 days we focused on multiplying by tens, by hundreds, kind of estimating, rounding to get close to our right number. So let's say I have the problem, let's say 6 times 19. We're going to actually solve this. Now from the lesson yesterday, in my head, I might be thinking, oh, you know what? That's going to be close to 6 times 20. So, because I know 19 is close to 20 from our lesson from yesterday. So if I'm thinking 6 times 20, I know that's going to be somewhere near 120. My answer should be at least. But let's use the distributive property to actually solve that. So the distributive property is where I'm going to break apart this second number. So I can think of, okay, 6 times, now 19, I can separate it and break it apart into different things. So what plus what equals 19? There's a lot of different options to choose from. I could say 10 plus 9. I could, there's tons, 11 plus 8, 12 plus, my brain is not even working, plus 7, finally got it. So you can do anything that you want. So I'm going to break it apart to 10 plus 9, because that seems easier to me. So now what I can do is I can distribute these two multiplication problems, and they're going to be easier for me to solve. So instead of doing 6 times 19, I can do 6 times 10, which I know is 60. That seems easy. And I can do 6 times 9, which if we know our multiplication facts from 3rd grade, you should know that's 54. Now all you have to do is add those two pieces together and you should get our answer. What, 6 plus 5? 11. So 6 times 19 is 114, which is close to our estimate of 120. So that's a good way to check. Let's try another one. Let's say I have 5 times 13, right? I don't know my multiples of 13s, but I can break the number apart any way that I want. So let's say 5, I'm going to break 13 apart into 8 plus 5. Because 8 plus 5 equals 13. So now I can do, instead of 5 times 13, I can do 5 times 8 as one problem, which I know is 40. And then I can do 5 times 5 for the second problem, which I know is 25. Then I add those two up, and I get 65 as my answer. So I know 5 times 13 is 65. Let's try one more. So if we have 7 times 12, maybe I don't remember my 12s from last year, I can separate my 12 and then use the distributive property. So let's say 12, I could do 6 plus 6. You could do 10 plus 2. There's a ton of different options you could do. So now if I do 6 plus 6, I know 7 times 6 is 42. And then 7 times 6 again is another 42. And then I know my answer would be 84. I could do it this way. So 7 times 12, I could break it apart. 7 times 10 plus 2. Let's do it this way. So if my first equation is 7 times the 10, which is 70. My second one is 7 times the 2. 7 times 2 is 14. I still get 84. So having your multiplication facts memorized from 3rd grade is going to be a really big help. Because if I'm sitting here stuck on, 7 times 6, I'm going to be stuck in doing this. So knowing your multiplication facts is going to help us multiply larger and larger numbers.